Hey guys, Rusty over here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to solo normal Nighthold for the Felfire Infernal mount, or the Felblaze Infernal mount. Basically the Green Infernal. Get it. Now, I did this around 359 item level, and some of the bosses is around 366 item level. Now, guys, I'm doing this as a Feral Druid, and I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing as a Feral Druid, to be honest. I guess I could kind of PvP with it, but I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So if I could do this on a Feral Druid, you could do this. It's not that big of a deal. Let's get started. Alright, first boss, we're moving on to Skorpyron. Now, guys, this boss and honestly the first three are a complete fucking joke. Like, you could fucking close your eyes and fucking jerk off at the same time and still kill them. All you're going to want to do for Skorpyron here is that when he pulls the scorpions in, to be honest, you could probably just ignore them. They did like 2 damage to me. I do choose to kill them eventually. I probably shouldn't have, considering I'm a Feral Druid, but anyways, kill them off. Now, the main mechanic of this fight is going to be the Chitinous Exoskeleton. You can see it's under the boss's health bar on my screen. He has 25 stacks. When he takes damage, he loses a stack. Once he reaches 0 stacks, he's going to do a Chitinous Exoskeleton cast. He's basically going to take extra damage during this fight, or during that part. So just save all your DPS cooldowns while he's doing that, and just fucking fuck him in the ass and blow him up. It's really that simple. Now, the other mechanic is going to be the Shockwave mechanic, which if you get hit by, it's just going to knock you back and you'll fucking aggro. It's not that big of a deal. You can honestly just get hit by it. But if you want to avoid it, just hide behind the blue crystals. Simple enough. Also, there's the Focus Blast. He just sends a big fucking beam of shit right in front of him. It'll stun you. If you get stunned, no big deal. This boss does, again, no damage. Also, don't worry about the Arcano Slash. It does next to no damage. Pretty much, I can describe this boss as just fucking whip out your dick, slap him with it, and kill him. That's it. Moving on. Alright, next boss. Moving on to the Purple Blast Furnace. Now, again, just like the first boss, this one is a fucking joke. However, you can die if you're unfamiliar with what the tank debuff does. So, there's going to be these orange balls that fall from the sky. Don't worry about those. They do about negative damage. They heal you pretty much if you stand them. They don't actually, just do little damage. There's also going to be these as a spawn, the Waning Time Particles. You can completely ignore those. Don't even fucking touch them. Now, you can see stacking on the right of my screen is the tank debuff. If that reaches 10 stacks, it'll instantly kill you. However, it should never do that because eventually the boss is going to go into his Power Overwhelming cast where he'll just cast, he won't melee swing at you at all. Now, normally what you would do when this was current is you would kill the ad and it would spawn an orb, you would smash the boss on his face. Don't do that. If you do that, the boss could potentially reset your tank stacks, hit 10 stacks, and you're going to die. So, when he does Power Overwhelming, completely ignore everything, just kill the boss, that's it. Honestly, that's it, guys. Just kill the fucking boss. Alright, next boss, moving on to fucking Mr. Clean here. Now, he's going to put this purple poop on the ground. Don't stand in the poo-poo. Alright? Don't stand in the poo-poo. He's also going to do an Arcane Slash, which is basically your tank debuff. Now, there's no way to drop this tank debuff until you get to the second phase and he does the big laser beam cast. So, you're going to hit 5 stacks of this debuff. Guys, it really does next to no damage, even at 5 stacks. However, if for whatever reason you're still struggling with it, just save a personal defensive cooldown for the 5th stack. Other than that, this boss does next to no damage. Now, I did do a little test here when he does the Annihilation Beam. That'll drop your tank debuff, so it doesn't keep stacking. And 2, that beam can still kill you if you stand in it long enough, I'm pretty sure. So just don't stand in the fucking beam, you know, like a good fucking player. I say fuck a lot. I really need to slow down on that. Anyways, there's also going to be these robots that spawn during the 3rd phase. They're basically going to go around and eat the cake. And if they eat the cake, they're going to explode. But the explosion used to wipe you when this was current, but again, it does next to no damage. So to be honest, guys, just kill the boss and don't stand in the laser. That's pretty much it. Easy. Alright, next boss, moving on to the Melee Mage. And now, guys, this one can actually be a little difficult, mainly due to one mechanic, especially if you're undergeared and you don't have, like, a big movement speed increase. Now, the mechanic that's going to give you the struggle is going to be the Annihilate cast. This basically is stacking debuff, and a cast that she does, it basically does a shit ton of physical damage. And every time she does this, the debuff stacks, increasing damage you take from it. You basically need to kill the boss before she kills you. However, there is one way you can avoid this, which I'll go into in a minute. Now, I do want to talk about the Frost phase first with the Mark of Frost. Normally, if more people would be able to touch each other and drop the debuff, it would bounce to other people. But you're soloing this, so it's going to be on you the entire time. You're going to have to take 40 stacks on the Mark of Frost. So that's also a lot of damage on top of the Annihilate. You need some kind of way, some big defensive or self-heals to heal yourself through it. Otherwise, you're not killing this boss. You cannot get away from that Mark of Frost damage. Now, personally, as a Feral Druid, I choose to ignore the ads. They don't do too much damage to me. But if you're taking a lot of damage from the ads, you see it, just kill them off. It's not that big a deal. However, I didn't. I was fine. Now, what do you do about the Annihilation cast? If you have some kind of big movement speed increase, like you can see on my Feral Druid, I have Tiger's Dash, you can actually outrange the actual damage from the cast. You won't be able to, avoid the dot application or the debuff application, but you can actually run away from the cast and avoid taking damage. Now, I recommend doing that as often as possible and saving defensives for times that you can't actually get away from the Annihilation cast. Now, again, guys, even if you get to the Fire and Arcane phase, I choose to ignore the ads. Just don't stand in shit, kill the boss, try and survive the Annihilation cast. That's the best advice I could give you. Kill the boss. Use drums here if you need to. Lust, pre-pot, everything. Kill the boss before she kills you. Alright, next boss, moving on to Nosferatu. This boss is really fucking easy. Now, there is one thing you do need to watch out for, which is going to be the Tainted Bloods. Every time he does this cast, he's going to spawn 3 Tainted Bloods, and he's going to put a debuff on you, which stacks and increases your physical damage taken, and increases the heal that the Bloods do. Now, this heal, the Bloods will actually heal for 300% of the melee damage that they do, and this doubles when you have 2 stacks, so 600% damage. So, I actually do highly recommend killing the Tainted Bloods off as quickly as you can, because that melee damage, especially in 2 stacks, can actually be a little high. Now, how are you going to do this if they're healing? Well, one, they don't heal that much, so to be honest, you could probably kill them within melee range of the boss. And if you are still struggling with them, you can't kill them from melee range of the boss. Simple. When he does the Echoes of the Void cast, just run to the back of the room. The boss will stand still because he's casting and the Bloods will follow you. They won't be in range of the boss. You can kill them off. They won't heal. Simple. The only other thing to worry about is going to be the second phase with the bats. Kill the bats. There you go. Oh yeah, and they drop a purple orb that increases your damage. You're going to go and pick that up. After that, I saved cooldowns for that. Although, no, I didn't. I used them on Paul. You don't have to save cooldowns for that, to be honest. Just extra damage. You can kill the boss off after that. It's really that easy. Oh, and he puts a dot on you. There you go. Next boss we're moving on to, Krosus. Now, guys, this boss is the hardest boss in all of Nighthold to solo right now. And the reason for that is there's no way to drop the tank debuff, which is a stacking dot on you. I think at the end of my kill, I got to like somewhere around 30, 40 stacks. I'm not sure. You'll see. You need to kill the boss before he kills you. Even if you try and run away from the boss, he won't melee swing you, but he'll still put the fucking dot on you. So there's no point in running away from the boss and trying to drop your stacks. It's going to continue to stack. You need to kill the shit out of the boss before he kills you. Now, I do want to talk about a few of the other mechanics. One is going to be the slam. You could choose to soak one of them or not to. Honestly, the damage from the slam is fairly irrelevant. Don't worry about that. He's going to do a big laser beam. Now, guys, I know a lot of people in my guild really struggled with this incredibly difficult mechanic. If he raises his left hand up, that means he's going to put the beam on the left hand, and you want to move right. And vice versa on the other side. If he lifts his right hand up, you're going to move left. I know that's really difficult for some people to understand, but that's what you got to do. Now, the other mechanic is going to be the orb. Honestly, don't even bother running out with it. You're going to take full damage from it either way. Just stay near the boss, hit him. Don't worry about the orb. Now, the other one you're going to want to, that may be a problem, is going to be the swirlies that spawn the ads. Soak one swirly if you want. However, a shit ton of ads are going to spawn that's completely unavoidable. Now, this is up to you. You have to try and feel it out for yourself. However, I recommend completely ignoring the ads and try to kill the boss. The ads will do a lot of damage, but even if you kill them off, that's basically less damage you're going to have the boss, and it's more stacks of the debuff that's going to be on you, and eventually you're just going to die. So I just recommend completely ignoring the ads and just tunneling all your damage onto the boss. Also, after the boss does 3 slams, he's going to destroy a piece of the bridge. Don't be on that piece of the bridge. You're going to fall and die. Simple enough. Again, guys, this boss is mechanically very easy. You just need to kill him before he kills you. Alright, next boss, we move on to Flower Man, and I fucking hated this boss when it was current. And even right now, for a lot of classes, he's still going to be a cock in the ass. Now, he's going to put a stacking debuff on you, which is from his melee swings. It's a tank debuff that is very difficult to drop for a lot of classes. Now, if you outrange the boss for long enough, the debuff will actually drop. He will only apply it if he melee swings you. So, I had Tiger Dash as a druid I was able to get out of. Warriors can leap. I believe monks could cheat torpedo transcendence. I recommend doing that as often as possible. However, this is made much harder with another mechanic. Basically, the boss is going to root you indefinitely. Unless you have a way to get rid of roots, you're not getting out of that, and your tank debuff is going to keep going up. As a druid, I could just shapeshift out of it. I'm not sure what class you're playing right now, but if you have some way to get out of roots, I recommend doing it. Now, if you do get out of the root, it's going to spawn 2 Parasitic Lasher ads. If those reach you, they're basically going to re-root you, and that cycle is going to continue. So, kill those ads as soon as they spawn if you get out of the root, and kite them. Just kill the shit out of them. Now, when the boss reaches phase 2, he's going to split into 2, and it reaches phase 3, he's going to split into 3. When there's multiple of them, make sure you're cleaving as much as possible. They share damage done to each other. They share a health pool. Kill them. I recommend saving Lust and cooldowns if you cannot drop the debuff for phase 3, as you could cleave on 3 of them, and they'll all take that damage. Now, another mechanic to actually mention is going to be the orbs. To be honest, guys, you could probably completely ignore those, as well as the basically the purple pool on the ground. If you can, I recommend getting out of it, but if you can't get out of roots, you're going to be standing in that. Other than that, though, it's basically you need to kill the boss before he kills you if you can't drop the debuff. If you can drop the debuff, well, good job. The boss is a fucking joke then. Anyways, guys, good luck. You do need to be geared for this if you cannot drop the debuff. Next boss, moving on to Elon here. So what you're going to want to do with this boss is kill the shit out of him. Guys, there's really no danger of dying here, to be honest. You could really lust whenever you want. I recommend doing it during the 3rd phase, even though I did it on pull. It's just strictly because 3rd phase is kind of annoying. Now, let's talk about the ice phase. I'm not even going to talk about the beginning pull. He doesn't do much. He does a cast on you. Heal through it. Live. Let's talk about the frost phase. He's going to put a meteor on you. Basically a little circle around you. It's going to do some damage. Live through it. Use a personal if you need to. I don't know what else to tell you. You just gotta live through it and push him into the Fel phase. Now, the Fel phase, if your damage is Anus, if you're doing it as a tank spec or healer, he does put a stacking dot on you, which is basically you need to push him into the Void phase, which he does around, I believe, either 40 or 30% before he kills you, which is not hard to do, guys. Also, just put patches of fire on the ground. Don't stand on it. If you get the meteor, you can clear it with the meteor. I'm not really going much into that. Strictly, I could really just say push the boss into the Void phase. Now, there is one thing to note during the Void phase. So there's 2 ads that spawn. You got little dick ads and big dick ads. You cleave down the little dick ads. I recommend doing that strictly because they put a stacking dot on you, which theoretically, if that reaches high enough stacks, it can kill you, but it really doesn't do too much damage, guys. You really don't have to worry about it. Now, when the boss puts the meteor debuff on you, I actually fucked this up here, I'm pretty sure. You need to run out with it, and it'll spawn a big dick ad. If that ad is too close to the boss, it'll basically immune both the ad and the boss. So when that happens, you need to basically pull the boss, or excuse me, the ad to the edge of the room away from the boss and kill that ad off ASAP so you can continue damaging the boss. Now, the ad will also do a cast. I forgot what it's called. You'll see. I believe it's fucking Fear the Void or some shit like that. You'll see. He'll do a cast. Just look away from the ad. Otherwise, you're going to get feared. Kind of like Gaze of Gahoon if you've done Gahoon. Look away from it. Kill the ad. Go back to the boss. Other than that, guys, just kill the fucking boss. It's really not that hard. Alright, next boss, we're moving on to Queen Ajara 2. So, this boss is only difficult in the 1st phase. If you get past the 1st phase, you killed the boss. Congratulations. Now, there's going to be 2 ads to spawn. You got a pink ad and a blue ad. I choose to dot up the blue ad and kill it off, but to be honest, guys, you can completely ignore the blue ads. Even when she does the orbs, they don't do that much damage. Ignore the blue ads, it's a waste of damage. Now, what you're going to want to do on the pullers to help you get through phase 1 is save all your cooldowns. Do not use them right away. You're going to want to get the pink ad as low as you can. So what's going to happen is the boss is going to teleport away and do her orb cast. Basically, she spawns a ton of orbs around the room. First off, I wouldn't worry about the orbs. They don't do that much damage. You can just run right through them. Now, while she ported away, while she's gone, you're going to want to kill off the pink ad as quickly as you can. It's going to spawn a pink bubble. If you stay in this pink bubble, you're basically get like 30% haste. I'm not sure about damage. 30% cooldown reduction. Basically, you're going to be doing you're going to go Super Saiyan and kill the shit out of everything. The blue ad will basically do the opposite and slow you down by 30%. So stand in the pink bubble. Get super fast. As soon as the boss is back in range of you, pop everything. Lust, pots, fucking all your cooldowns. Nuke the shit out of the boss. You need to get to the boss to 10% health before that tank debuff she applies to you reaches too high stacks and kills you. That is the hardest part of the fight. If you are able to push the boss below 10% before she kills you, congratulations, you pretty much kill the boss. Now, in the 2nd phase, there's going to be orbs that fall from the sky. Ignore those. They don't do a lot of damage. They hit the ground. I do recommend still killing off the pink ad whenever it spawns to get your debuff. And again, you can completely ignore the blue ads. They don't do much. Same thing with phase 3. Ignore everything. Kill the pink ads. Kill the boss. And you're done. Again, guys, the whole gist of this fight and the important thing to do is get through phase 1. There is no way to drop that tank debuff. Which actually, you know what I think about it? That tank debuff in phase 1, sometimes it can randomly drop. I don't know why. It has to do with the timing when the boss ports away. It can drop. It has happened to me before. However, it's very unlikely. Just get through the 1st phase. Kill the boss. And you're fine. We're moving on to the final boss now. We're moving on to Gul'dan's game. This is motherfucker that drops the mount. Kill the shit out of him. You want that mount? It's your mount. Get it. Anyways, 1st phase. Now, in the first phase, there's two ways Gul'dan goes immune here. One, if you get him to 90% health, he won't take any more damage. And two, over time, he'll put the bubble up and you can't melee hit him. I recommend getting the 90% before he does that. There's no reason not to. Now, the other things that are going to happen here is going to spawn 3 ads. To be honest, they don't do much, guys. Just fucking don't stand in the big laser beams. Kill the shit out of them. Now, the only other thing I want to note for this phase is the extra action button. When you use that, it's kind of similar setting in the pink bubbles from Elisande. You're going to go super fast, you're going to get super damage. If you take any sort of fire damage, however, you're going to lose that buff until, you can use it again. Now, I recommend waiting for Gul'dan. Not even recommend, you need to wait for Gul'dan to do the first liquid hellfire, then just pop your extra action button. Don't use DPS cooldowns yet, they're wasted in my opinion. Just pop your extra action button, kill the 3 big ads, and then you're moving on to the second phase. Now, I was really worried about the Fel Scythe, if you don't know what that is. Whenever Gul'dan reaches 100 energy, he does a Fel Scythe cast, which used to basically one-shot you as a DPS when this was current. Now, guys, it really does no damage. You can completely fucking ignore it. There's really no way to die in this fight unless you get knocked off, which I'll get into in a minute. Now, with the extra action button cast, as soon as after he does the first Bonds of Fel cast, that's when I recommend blowing all your DPS cooldowns and your extra action button and using it on the boss. I actually didn't because I wasn't sure if he was going to do a liquid hellfire cast, but after he does that first Bonds of Fel, that's when I recommend using all your cooldowns and the extra action button. Now, I do want to talk about the Bonds of Fel. After he empowers them, which I believe he does around 85-80% health, maybe 75%, instead of just basically something you got to run away from to break, is going to knock you back, then you need to run away. Now, that is the only way you could possibly die on this fight, guys, is if you get knocked off the edge. So basically, whenever the boss is casting Bonds of Fel, just turn towards basically an edge where you're not going to get knocked off. Just don't get fucking knocked off. It's not that hard. If you can't manage that, then, well, good luck killing this boss, alright? Now, the other thing to worry about is the liquid hellfire. Don't. And you want to kill the Eyes of Gul'dan when they spawn. They have very little health. Just kill the shit out of them. There's no reason not to. Play it safe. Now, the boss is going to transition around 40% health. Not a big deal. He's going to do a fucking awesome animation where he rips the sky open. If you haven't seen the fucking badass, I love this fight. He's also going to do some winds. Make sure you're running towards the north side of the room and just basically running against some winds so you don't get knocked off. Now, in the final phase, don't stand in the flames of Sargeras. Just run away from the flame patches. Simple enough. Make sure you're killing the empowered Eyes of Gul'dan. Easy. Now, the main mechanic of this phase is going to be the soul well in the middle. You can see all these souls flying. I choose to soak them because I wasn't sure how much damage the AoE is going to do, guys. But to be honest, you can completely ignore the souls. When he does the Black Harvest cast, don't even worry about soaking. The damage isn't that high. Really, just kill the boss in the phase 3. You don't even worry about any mechanics. And to be honest, that's it, guys. Congratulations. You just soloed normal fucking Nighthold, and you probably did not get the mount. If you got the mount, fuck you. Okay? I want that mount. That's my mount. Give me. Anyways, guys, I really do hope this guide helped you. I really hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, any tips you might want to give, feel free to leave a comment below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel for more guides. I couldn't think of that for some reason. Anyways, guys, remember, you're all slices of fucking lettuce. I love you. Thank you very much for watching. See ya!